Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina, visiting Parkway Subaru, and I'm checking out a 2023 Subaru Ascent in the touring trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 245/50 Vulcan tires wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Ice Silver Metallic, and to my eyes it has like a tiny bit of a bluish color, I guess, to it, but yeah, very impressive color. It's one of those kind of colors the camera really can't do it justice, I don't think. I think you have to see it in person, but it looks good. So here in the front there's a combination of chrome, gloss black, and black and flat black basically. Now the center portion here, the grill area, is the gloss black. So there's gloss black all through here, and there's a camera located right in here, and this is for the surround view 360 camera system. And I'll show you that when we get on the inside. You see it on the screen. There's actually 3 more cameras here in the windshield, and they've actually upgraded from the previous model. The 2 on the outer side, they used to be a little bit further away from the glass, and they used to not be sealed up to the glass. So now they have them sealed up to the glass, so there's no chance of it getting signals from other things inside the vehicle. There's also, keeping it cleaner and all that stuff. And then there's a separate camera in the middle for the lane keeping system. So the EyeSight is for the adaptive cruise control, and then you have the separate camera. It's like you have a triple redundancy camera system going on up there, which has been upgraded and sealed to the glass and all that stuff, keeping it clean and reducing glare. This lower portion has a flat black right in here, and then of course you see the chrome pieces as well, just for looks for the most part. All this is for cooling, of course. Now this part, it kind of looks like there's a grill, but it's actually just blocked off. There's no airflow through here. It's just the reflector LED fog light here at the bottom. Now the headlights are a projector system, LED projector for your low and your high beams. So it's the same projector tube. It basically just refocuses the light for the high beams. Now it has daytime running lights and accent lights, as well as standard turn signals. Looking at the profile of the vehicle, you can see that the flat black portion from the bumper here in the front continues around each wheel well and the base of the doors all the way to the back of the vehicle. The doors go all the way down to the bottom of the vehicle. I'll show you what that's for in just a few minutes. There's also this little chrome strip right in here, and you also have chrome outlining the complete glass right here. Now the pillars here and here are a flat black. If that was gloss black, I think it would help kind of solidify the glass a little bit better, especially if you tint the front glass. Now it does have the chrome handles, and the upper portion of the side mirror is actually like a satin silver color, which is interesting. Then you have the flat black roof rails there on the top. Here's the silver portion on the side mirrors. You can see it kind of has an interesting look, and then there's an LED turn signal indicator here, as well as another camera. There's one on the underside of each side mirror, serving to complete that 360 camera system. So here's the key, and the key is basically the same one I've used before. It's not a new one this year, but it is a rounded, relatively lightweight key, and you can carry it around easy. Now it has the unlock, which is the blue oval there, the lock button, which is right above it, and then there's the ability to open up the power lift gate, and then a panic button. Let's go ahead and push the panic button. Pretty decent sounding horn. There's also a physical key on the inside. You can take that out when you need to use it. But as long as you have this key with you, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's on the outside of either one of the front doors here, you can lock the doors by placing your hand or your finger or whatever over the sensor indicated by the 2 little marks right here. Once you have the key with you, hit that button right there, it locks the doors. It's not actually a button, it's just a sensor. And then in this case, I have it set to where the side mirrors will fold in and it'll lock the vehicle. To unlock it, you simply put your hand behind the handle. There's a sensor back here. It senses your hand position, it senses the key on the outside of the door, and it opens up, unlocks the vehicle and allows you access. Now you can have it unlock this door or all doors in the settings. There's also a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Now I mentioned that the door goes all the way to the bottom of the vehicle. There's actually a seal right in here. that presses up and seals out road debris and stuff, keeping this threshold mostly clean. So when you're getting in and out of this vehicle, this area where your clothes might touch as you're getting in and out stays relatively clean. You can actually see where it gets a little bit of dirty down here, a little bit of dirt, but you can see the seal kept all that out. Here's the inside of the passenger side door. Starting here at the top, it has a soft touch injection molded type material here, and then a perforated simulated leather, like a vinyl type material here. It's a little bit different right in here. This one's just kind of more grippy and it's nice and soft. All this is soft touch. You have stitching here in a French design. It's all soft here, here. Now this is enclosed, so you can utilize that as a pocket if you want to. It does have a hard plastic on the inside. There's this is all hard touch here as well as here. All the bottom portion of the door is a hard touch. Then you have the pockets with little dividers there, which is handy. Really like it. This wood grain looks really nice. Looks like a nice piece of furniture or something. All right, there's the threshold. Power seat here on the passenger side. Now it does not go up and down. It goes forward and back and tilts. So you know, it doesn't have the same functionalities as the driver's seat, but it does have the power seat here on the passenger side. So these are leather trim seats, same French stitching, perforations, really nice looking contrast stitching and all that stuff. Very comfortable seats overall. Has some bolsters, but not too intrusive. And a decent height off the ground. So you can see the seat relative to the ground. It's like perfect for me to get in and out of this vehicle. So there's the floorboard area. It has like a Berber type floor mat. A little bit of tapering going on here and here, but overall just a pretty good amount of space. It does have a lockable glove compartment, and it has a felt lining on the inside. Pretty good size as well. And also it has this, which is really handy. I like when they include this in vehicles. Nice shelf to put something that you can put something down, you can see it and access it quickly. So really nice. I really like those little compartments in vehicles. Now this is a soft touch here, but it's not like super soft. It's just like feels like a piece of vinyl wrapped over a hard surface. You know, you can hear it. It's not super soft. This is more rubbery soft. So this is a soft touch up here, but it's rubbery, non-reflective dashboard. And check out that huge screen. We're gonna go over that soon. You can see the overall size of the doors and the swing of the doors as well. You can see there's lots of space here in the front. So getting in and out, the height off the ground, the height of the seat, and just overall, you're not gonna bump your head or anything like that. Same thing with the back door, and arguably, it might actually be better here in the back. Look how much room you have. Way, just wide open space, really nice. And the swing of the door is nice as well. Has a really good swing. Some vehicles have an open space, but then the door swings too little and then it still impedes your entry. So in this case, really nice. It also has a shade which retracts into the door when you're not using it. So you can put that away, which is nice, but also has a privacy glass as well. So here's the inside of the back door, and basically it's the same as far as the materials. It's got soft touch, it's got the perforations, it's got the enclosed pockets here, hard touch at the bottom. But check it out, you even have this cup holder here, which is in that forward position right where your hand can easily access it. Really nice. So actually the back door is a little bit better in my opinion. Nice. There's the threshold area, and once again the door goes all the way to the bottom of the vehicle. This one has the captain's chairs here in the second row, and basically pretty decent seats. They're contoured. They have the same style with the stitching and everything as the front. They're also heated as well. And they have the latch system for car seats, and have these little flaps. So you can just kind of flip the flap back, access the latch here, and secure the seat. And then when you're done, you can just push this back. So there's no like cover to take off and lose and all that stuff. So that's nice. Also has these armrests here, which are kind of ratchet, so you can lift it up and it'll stay wherever you want it. To reset it, you lift it up all the way and then drop it back down to the bottom. Those you can of course move out of the way completely if you want. There's also these little handles right here. So like these kids can go in and out of the back seats. You can just grab there and just kind of navigate through between the seats and around this way, which is nice. Pockets on the back of both front seats. You can see that. And all soft cloth material as well. There's rear climate control, rear heated seats, a USB-C and a USB regular here, charge ports, as well as a power inverter, 3-prong, 100 watts. And then there is some cup holders here that pop out when you want to use them, kind of spring-loaded cup holders. The floor is completely flat back here on the second row, which is really nice. Really nice for leg room. There's no hump in the middle getting in the way. You do have a increase in the floor right here in the center. It just basically steps up the floor to the third row. Accessing the third row, there's actually 2 seat positions here for these seats. One is like to lay down as like a cargo mode, and then the other one is just simply move the seat forward to access the third row. So once you got the seat kind of spooned up to the front there, you can step right on in to the third row. And you can see the floor is flat back here, and the seats are relatively high off the floor for a third row seat. And then they have the extendable headrest there. There's cup holders. There's charge ports, 2 of them on each side. As you can see, these 2, little pocket there, and then you can see there's some on the other side as well. And little cup holders and just nice little niceties back here. There's also climate control vents there in the ceiling with convenient lights as well. And the car seat attachment is only here on this right side right here. So if you put a car seat, you want to put, this is where it goes, and then this seat can fold down to add to your cargo space and keep that car seat in place. So you can see these little dots here and here. Those indicated where you connect the car seat. The fuel door is here on the passenger side, and it's a locking fuel door, and it locks with the vehicle. So when the vehicle's locked, it's locked. So when you unlock the vehicle, it also is unlocked. So basically when it's unlocked, it just does that. And it has a fairly traditional cap, tether, and a little place to hang the cap here on the inside of the door while you're pumping gas. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, there is, in addition to these roof rails here, which are a flat black, there's also a flat black shark fin antenna here in the top center. The third brake light is at the top of the glass here in the spoiler, and it's an LED brake light. Also a rear wiper, standard bulbs for the tail lights. The backup camera slightly offset here, down here above the tag. And you have parking sensors across the back. And you see these those are the parking sensors there. Chrome exhaust tips, pretty nice. Now if this vehicle is equipped with a towing package, then it's behind this cover right here. Opening up the power lift gate, you can of course use the key, or there's a button under here. You just press that, it'll beep a couple times and lift up for you. So if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is the cargo space. So there is a little bit more under here, which is nice. And this is where you can store the shade, and it's already in place. This is also where you'll find the jack and tools for the spare tire. And the spare tire, as you saw in the beginning of the video, is underneath the vehicle. There's a subwoofer here on the right side. It's the Harman Kardon sound system. Here on the left side is a 12-volt power supply, a tie down, and there's a light there. Not the brightest or the best light, but it does have a light in the cargo area. So these seats fold down if you need to add to your cargo space. So you can fold the third row, the second row, and continuously just adding cargo space while still maintaining passenger space. The example I used, you can put a car seat here in this third row here on the left side, and you can fold this seat down and you can quickly add to your cargo space. Like so. So now, that's quite a bit of an addition to the cargo area, while still maintaining that seat up. Now we can continue on, fold the third row down, and have a wide open space when we really need to fold everything down. Now if you fold down the third row seats, the shade actually goes right there. So you can add the shade when you don't use the third row for passengers. You can use it for cargo and then have a shade over all that cargo. Lowering the power liftgate, there's actually two buttons here. So there's a button to lower the power liftgate, but there's also a second button here, and this will lower the power liftgate but also lock the vehicle. So when you're done getting your groceries out or whatever, you can just press that, it lowers it down, and you can just walk away and it'll lock it up for you. We're just gonna go ahead and push that. Kind of beeps a couple times. It comes down quite fast, so you want to be prepared for that. Start it up. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just press, hold the brake, and press this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat, and on this side the floor mat hooks in place so it doesn't slide around on you. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, and footrest there on the left side. So let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there is a latch right here, basically in the center, a little bit to the right of center, I guess. Move it to the left, and then you can lift up on the hood. The hood's not super heavy, but it does have a little bit of weight to it. And it does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop here on the left side, and it swings up and goes right there where the arrow's pointing. So here's the engine compartment. There's seals across the front and back of the engine compartment, and this helps with airflow and cooling and noise, of course. There's also a lot of insulation there on the firewall, under the hood, and you notice this huge thing right here that extends down, and this is actually mates up with the intercooler in the engine. So as you're driving, it actually gets cooler air there on the front, right here in this area, and it goes into this. It basically funnels the air into the intercooler, so that gives airflow to that, in addition to the radiator, which is here on the front of the vehicle. So the intercooler basically cools down the air before it gets into the engine, because the turbo system tends to heat it up. So that's a way of mitigating that additional heat. So you can notice that the actual engine is low down on the vehicle. This helps out with the center of gravity, and also the exhaust is completely directly out the bottom, and the intake is directly on the top. So the heat buildup flows mostly underneath the engine. So that's the positives of this style of engine. And actually, the actual bulk of the engine is much lower than what you're seeing right here. This is the plastic portions here, or the air flow. The actual engine's quite a ways down there, so that's a much lower center of gravity. Here's the battery. It's easy to get to. So is the oil filter. That's very easy to get to. This vehicle is powered by a 2.4 liter dual overhead cam turbocharged boxer engine. So it's basically the regular Subaru flat floor type engine in this vehicle, but it's turbocharged. Now it's paired to a what they call high torque Linertronic CVT transmission, but it also has an 8-speed manual shift mode. So it's going to simulate 8 gear ratios, but it actually has 8 speed ratios in the CVT. This is also an all-wheel drive system. So basically, it does have some different drive modes, but it's basically an automatic type system that you don't have to lock in to turn on or turn off. It basically does it all independently from your actions. It does have a traction management system in X mode. So it has 2 versions of that, which we'll get to that when we get inside the vehicle. I'll show you where the controls are. The blind spot monitor and rear cross traffic alert indicator is here on the inside of the side mirror. Some vehicles have it in the actual glass on the mirror, but this one has it on the inside. Now the inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. It has 2 presets here for the driver's seat, and it actually has face recognition. There's like a camera in there that ties your profile settings to your face, which is interesting. I'll show you that when we get inside. So the power windows are here. The front 2 are automatic, 1 touch up and down, and this is laminated glass. So there's actually 2 panes of glass here. and then a piece of acoustic material there on the center of those, kind of sandwiched in there, helping out with sound transfer basically. And this makes it a stronger piece of glass as well. The rear windows are not automatic, so it's it's not one touch, but it does go all the way down. Some vehicles don't go all the way down in the second row. Door lock controls, side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side and adjust it with a little joystick type thing. Also, you can manually push that button and power fold the side mirrors as well. Just press it again to make them go out. So the power seat here for the driver's side is a little bit more than the passenger side. So you're able to lift the seat up, you're able to tilt it, height adjustments and all that stuff. You also have a 4-way lumbar adjustment as well. So still one-upping the passenger side, and that's pretty typical. Now it has a thigh extension as well, so you can kind of pop that out and you know, get a more comfortable support on your legs for the driver. Really nice looking seats. To the left of the steering column, there's a nice little cubby right there, just like the other side. Nice. There's also the ability to open up the power lift gate. This button turns on the interior lights only if you don't have the switch off. There's another switch, I'll show you this soon, but this will quickly turn on the interior lights. This is just a blank space, and then this is a dimmer switch for the interior gauges. There's also a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you lock in place here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way down and all the way back. I'm 6 feet tall to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. It's actually too far back for me to drive. So even if you're a little bit over 6 foot, should be no problem. There's lots of legroom here in the front. So this is what the steering, I mean, here on the sides as well. Like it's the length and just overall space is fantastic here in the front. So this is what the steering wheel looks like. It's a leather wrap steering wheel. It has nice cushion to it. Feels really good. Has a nice grip to it. It's not slippery or anything. And the thickness is decent. It's not overly thick. I mean, it probably could be a little bit thicker for my hands. I got big hands, but it's a good feeling steering wheel. It does have paddle shifters across here on the back, so you have the minus and plus there. This vehicle has a CVT transmission, so what it does is it basically simulates gears. You're able to lower the speed ratio using those paddle shifters. This is handy for like going downhill and you need some engine braking, that kind of thing. Me personally, I wouldn't use it for, like, you know, racing or anything like that. It's just a way of changing the speed ratios manually when you need to. Here on the left side of the steering wheel, there's some buttons. This is the volume for the radio, change to the tracks on the radio, and then you have the source, which is the audio source, AM, FM, satellite radio, USB, Bluetooth, that kind of stuff. And then this button right here goes up and down, and this is to get information here in the center of the gauges there. We'll get to that in just a minute. You also have the ability to answer using the Bluetooth system, answer a call, hang up, as well as mute here. And then the voice recognition button is there, so you can press that and, you know, bark out different commands that are predetermined in the system. Here on the right side is the cruise control system. So once you turn it on, you can set and resume and change to the manually change to the speeds here. You can also, since it has the adaptive cruise control system, it uses the EyeSight system to keep you at a set distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and you can set that distance here. There's forward, closer, or further distances there. It also has this button, and this will help steer the steering wheel and keep you within your lane, so you can turn that feature on or off. The windshield wipers are here, controls are here on the right side, and it also has an automatic rain sensing system as well once you turn that on. Here on the left side is the turn signal, and then it has the headlight switch as well. So you can turn the daytime running lights off, automatic for the headlights, parking lights, or headlights on manually. And then this is the fog lights. Right here is the reset trip button. So it has fairly standard gauges. There on the left side is the tachometer, RPM gauge, speedometers there on the right, physical gauges there, fuel gauge, and then engine coolant temperature. Just traditional, you know, physical gauges there. But there in the center, you also have a digital speedometer, what gear you're in, It also shows the trips there as well. And this little information screen right here has additional stuff on it. So when you turn on the cruise control, you can see it pops up here. You can see the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. You can see that visually represented. Also the status of the lane keep assist system, on or off. Once you turn that off, it expands that. Here on the left side of the steering wheel, that button there, you see you can scroll through and get additional information. Digital compass, shows you what road you're on using the navigation system. Whatever devices are connected will show up here. Digital clock, which is nice. Outside temperature. So this will be your average miles per gallon as well as your distance to empty. And then there's two different versions of this. And then there is the current drive. This is the tire pressure. Now it's not showing anything until you drive, and then it goes back to there. So it basically cycles through all that stuff, right? It goes back to the beginning. All right, we saw the start button. So right up here is the camera. I mentioned it earlier about a camera that uses your face. It does face recognition to pull up your user profile, basically. It also has a driver attention system to where it actually keeps an eye on you, and might alert you if you're not driving properly, or if you're not keeping your hands on the wheel or paying attention to the road, that kind of thing. So if you have the lane keep assist and you're just like looking at the road and you're paying attention, then it's gonna keep that system on. But if for whatever reason it thinks you're not paying attention, it's gonna like alert you by beeping you, like beeping noises or vibrating or something like that, in order to get your attention, so you pay attention to the road, basically. And you can turn that system off, and I'll show you that in a minute, but it has the IR illuminator and it has a little camera behind that lens. So this camera is able to make it look like my eyes see it, just basically a blank lens. So let me get the IR illuminator. Let me turn on the infrared camera here so we can see this light is really flashing a lot. So let me go ahead and cover that up so you can see right where it is. See right there? Now to the left of that light is a camera. So let me zoom in. Let me cover up that light. So there we go, there's that camera, and it's actually behind a lens, but this infrared is able to penetrate that lens and show you what it looks like. So the camera's there, and then it has these different sensors and the IR illuminator, which I'm covering up right now. You can see it there to the right. Cover that up and we can see the actual camera that's behind this lens. So it's very bright IR illuminator. So let me turn off. There we go. So you can see this is what it looks like. Now the camera is making that little light a little bit brighter than what it really is. Usually right now with my eyes, all I see is a static, very dim red light. But the camera is actually picking it up a little bit more. Here's the new big screen in this vehicle, really nice. It has a physical volume knob here, tuned through the stations. It also has the four-way flashers, physical buttons for the temperature, for the climate control here, front and rear defrosters as well. But everything else is controlled here on the screen. It's a touch screen. Here at the very top, it basically has like this banner that you can scroll through. It has the outside temperature, but it also has the digital clock. It has like a forecast there, current weather, whatever road you're on. It also has a digital compass here as well. And there's whatever connections you have as well. So it's kind of like a little banner that you can swipe through and get the information at the top that you want. And then the rest of it's kind of like a cell phone. It has like these little buttons right here. There's the map for the navigation system. There's the home button. We can always go back to that here. The radio. You see what that looks like. You have the presets here at the bottom. It does have album art. You can sort it by categories, stuff like that. AM, FM, satellite radio. And then you have the media, which would be your Bluetooth or USB device, something like that, some external device. You can also have an iPod, iPhone, that kind of thing. Alright, the next one is to pair your phone. I don't have one paired, but once you pair your phone, you have access to your recent calls, your phone book, and all that stuff, favorites, send and receive calls. Then apps here, this will be your Android Auto. It does have wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You also have TravelLink, which is really nice. and then My Subaru, which is an app on your phone that you can install and connect with the system. This one does not have Starlink activated or anything, but it does have that there. And then My Subaru, that's what we saw in this right here. And then settings, you can go in here and there's different settings for the system here. There's a separate one that I'll show you coming up. So there's a different settings there. Car info, this is really cool. So we have the driving statistics, and it has the pitch and roll of the vehicle. So right now we're on a completely flat level land, so it's at 0 degrees. But as you go up and down hills and all that stuff, if you're doing some off-roading type thing, that really does give you an idea of the position of the vehicle, plus the status of the all-wheel drive system. This right here is the vehicle hold. You can turn that on or off. Basically, when you come to a complete stop, it'll hold the brake for you, brake hold system. And then this is also cool, the maintenance. So you can keep an eye on and make sure that you're keeping up with the maintenance. All right, let's go to the next screen here. We could turn the display off if we want to. So it takes a second to turn off. And this is handy for like if you want to just not, you don't want the screen on, or if you want to clean this surface here. You notice it gets a lot of smudges on there. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Back on. All right, we have a valet mode, cabin connect. This is pretty cool. When you turn that on, it'll project your voice through the sound system to the rear passenger. So that way you're not hollering at the people in the back. They can actually hear your voice through the sound system. So that way you can just talk normally. There's the auto vehicle hold. Like I showed you before, that's how you turn it on or off. Traction control, the vehicle dynamics control. This is default is on, but you can turn it off here. It's only if you need to spin tires, that kind of stuff. It's more for like off-roading or if you get stuck, that kind of thing. Now, if you hit this button, this little car, that's where you get additional vehicle-specific options here. So we can turn on or off the vehicle dynamics control. We have X mode, which is your drive mode. You have snow and dirt. It actually has this little graphic up here that pops up. Snow and dirt, and you have deep snow and mud as well. It kind of pops up there. And then you can put it on normal, which is kind of like automatic function there. All right, cruise control acceleration. So basically this is for like when you increase the cruise control, or if there's a vehicle in front of you with the adaptive cruise control and it gets out of the way and then it's going to accelerate up to your set speed, you can set that to a higher or lower level. So you can put it in an eco mode, so it accelerates slowly. Dynamic would be like fast, right? So you can adjust that. That's pretty cool. And then we have another auto vehicle hold here where it's another way of turning that same feature off. Steering responsive headlights. So this would be your headlights actually turn with the steering wheel. You could turn that on or off. Me personally, that doesn't really add a whole lot because it's not able to angle very hard. So, it wouldn't matter to me. I'd probably just turn it off. And then over here, this is where you can quickly go into your devices and add up Bluetooth devices and stuff. And then here's your user profiles. Down here is the climate control. So we can hit that, it pops up here. We can adjust the temperature, different settings there, recirculate the air, where you want the air to blow. And it has a tri-zone, so the rear can be adjusted separately. I have it all set to sync together right now. But you do have the automatic function, your fan speed. If you want to, increase or lower your fan speed, you could do it here. Turn the climate control on or off, and then rear on or off. And then this actually, the front seats are heated and ventilated, and it's a 3-stage. So high, medium, and low, and then off. Same thing with the heated seats. So ventilated and heated are 3-stage. Same thing for the passenger side here in the front. So just below that is this little storage cubby, and it has a 12-volt power supply in there. And this is like a little bit of a traction surface, not like super rubberized, but it's angled quite a bit to where if you accelerate, probably not going to have anything fall out. So then there is a USB-C and regular USB charge ports here, as well as an auxiliary input. And then this button right here, very handy. Even when we're in park, typically when you put the vehicle in reverse, the camera system will pop up, but sometimes you want to just see the camera, whether you're going forward or you're in park. You can press that button quickly, and it pops up this camera system, and you can see it around the vehicle. And it gives you different views, different angles, see where you're at in relationship to other things. So you can turn it off, turn it back on. Now let me go ahead and put it in drive, because when you put it in drive and you have that system on, then you have a top-down view, so you can get a precise view of what's directly around the vehicle from that angle. Now let's go ahead and put it in reverse. Now we have the top-down view, we have the backup camera, very wide view, so we can see all the way around from the bumper to the sky and left and right. It's kind of stretched fisheye view, but once you get used to what you're seeing, it is very handy. You also have active guidelines, so as I turn the steering wheel, you'll actually see the lines there move as well, and then you can see the status of the parking sensors there in the back as well. Now it has rear automatic braking as well, so if you get too close to something as you're backing up, it will slam on the brakes basically if you get too close, like super close. So it does have that safety feature. You can turn that feature off if you want to. Now I mentioned that you can turn this camera off. Let's go right here to that, and then right here, driving assistance, and this is where you can turn different features off. But right there, driver monitoring system. It actually has a little light. I don't know if you can see a little light there, but anyways, you can turn that off, and then you can see the light immediately goes out. So that's how you can quickly turn that driver monitoring system off, and but that's also turn off your user profile with using your facial recognition. So it'll turn that camera system off if you don't want to use it. The shifter is pretty straightforward. You got reverse, you got neutral, you got drive, but also you have this manual mode here where you can use the paddle shifter. So it just initiates that. There's cup holders, has these little separations here. It has these little arms here and here that are spring-loaded to kind of take up the slack so the bottles or cups aren't sliding around. But yeah, it's kind of like the bottom part has a little grippy part, sort of like this, but it's not really rubberized. But it has a little traction. It feels really good. I mean, the materials really feel solid and nice. All right, and then there's an electronic parking brake. It engages the rear wheels, and to release it, you just hold the brake and then push it down. It has a little status light as well. So here is the armrest. Very soft, large armrest here, and it lifts up, and it kind of stays wherever you put it. It doesn't slap back down when you release it. It has a latch there. You can lift it up. It has places for wires to go in and out of the compartment here and here. A little quick access tray with little places to put coins, and there's like felt lining right there. And then the inside of this compartment is felt lined as well. Rear view mirror. It has two options here. One is the rear view mirror, auto dimming, and then it has the HomeLink garage door opener controls, but it also has, you lift it up here, the rear view camera system. So instead of actually looking out of a mirror, you're actually pulling up a camera here, and it's got a lot of glare, partially because I have the shade over the light sensor, so it thinks it's at nighttime, so it's giving me the night view. But it gives you basically a view directly behind the vehicle. So this is really handy, especially when you have a lot of passengers behind you, or just in general, it's really handy to have this. Now it does have some settings here, so we can adjust the height here, the width, the tilt. We can also calibrate it. Let's go back to the beginning. Right there, brightness. Let's go ahead and increase the brightness. There we go. All right, so that's a little bit brighter. But yeah, it still thinks it's nighttime because I have the shade up. But yeah, having that that camera system is fantastic. If you've ever experienced it, it is really good. All right, so right up here, it's a place to put your shades, so your sunglasses or whatever, and it's pretty good size. You can put some big sunglasses in there. But it also has this conversation mirror, so you can keep an eye on and talk to the people in the back, and this is handy when using that voice projection system as well. So you do have roadside assistance buttons here, and information there as well. And then this is the button I was telling you about. If you have the interior lights turned off, then that dome light button is not going to work. You have to have it on the door setting. So when you open the doors, the lights turns on, so you have to have that on that setting for it to work. And then you have tap lights here, as well as here. And then you have the sunroof controls here. This is for the shade, that's for the glass. We'll get to that in a second. The visor has a cloth material, just like the headliner. It has a mirror with lights. A little clip right here. It does slide out. Basically the same thing on the other side. Okay, so let's look at this sunroof. So it has a shade that covers 100% of the light, but right now I have it all the way back, and I'll pull it forward in a second, but look how big that sunroof is. The front portion moves, the back portion is fixed. So let's go ahead and tilt it up, and tilt it down, and then we'll move it back. Push it again, goes a little bit further back. All right, now we can go ahead and close that up. Now let's go ahead and move the shade forward. So yeah, I like the way it covers 100% of the light. Looking at the visibility in the back, now I have one seat in the third row up and one seat down, so you give you an idea of the potential view blocking that the third row headrests actually have. It actually blocks that window quite a bit when those are popped up. But overall, it's not so bad. I mean, you have a lot of windows out there and just a lot of visibility in general. Now, of course, you have the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, parking sensors, backup camera, surround view camera, rear view camera. There's a lot of technology to help you out with driving the vehicle safely. But just overall, just looking over my shoulder and looking out the windows and everything, it's not really an issue as far as visibility from what I can tell. Anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you to Parkway Subaru here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.